Hey guys, Thomas here from Thunderbolt Films. So if you saw the last episode of Bolt's tutorials I did about removing background plates and everything, you know I mentioned about 100 times that the footage I was working with was reshoots of episode 3. I know I've talked about this for a while now, but now I've officially buckled it down and that this is going to be the project I am going to set to get out by the end of the year. Hopefully for the anniversary of Dark Forge, which, if my memory is correct, it's the December 26th. So, hopefully. And it'll be just in time for the new Star Wars movie. But anyway, I'm going to tell you what these reshoots and what this revisited edition of Dark Force Episode 3 will entail. And I'm also going to go through the script and tell you about what was removed and everything and how it was originally set out to be. So, here we go. So the first thing that was changed, or actually added to the script, was the scene of me constructing my lightsaber. The scene of Ormond constructing his lightsaber. Now this scene, there's a couple things about this scene. This actually wasn't in the original script, if I remember. Or actually, I think I originally wrote it that Kiru, Preston Ankney's character, was going to be building his lightsaber. This was at the time where I didn't have the episodes 1 and, for that matter, episode 2 really written down or in my head of what had happened prior to episode 3. And in the script, which we'll talk about a little bit more, he had a slightly larger role. In that he actually had lines of dialogue because he's only seen at the very end. And also with the lightsaber construction scene, it's actually going to be a little bit longer. It's extended with some shots I originally did. And actually, another side note about the construction scene, I actually shot that just for the teaser. I had no plans to put it in the actual film, but I thought it looked good, and why not? So another scene that was cut from the script that we never shot was a scene in the Jedi Temple hangar. That involved Ormond and Mace briefing a bunch of troopers and sending them to their fighters and getting them ready for battle. Now, we won't actually incorporate this scene because it actually doesn't really affect anything because of another scene, another big scene that was actually a sequence that was going to be included, which we'll talk about in a bit. So, but I would have liked to have seen this scene, and this actually incorporates another character that was going to appear in episode 1, or will appear in episode 1, when and if we decide to do it. So, and this scene also include dialogue between Kiru and Mace. Mace was going to go off to the front lines of the battle, and Kiru wanted to be with him, but because he's only an apprentice, Mace told him to stay back and help the younger ones, the children, and the older Jedi escape from the temple. So Mace leaves, gets on the ship, and says, "May the Force be with you." In fact, I'll post pictures of the script on the Thunderbolt Films Facebook page, so if you want to check out this dialogue, click the link in the description. And just a quick side note, this page and that page and that page is all of the fight between Ormond and Danon. So that whole, it was like, 2 or 3 pages, so. And in regards to the lightsaber fight itself, another short mini sequence within the fight itself was cut out because it was actually green screen, and we didn't have enough time to get the effects done. So and that's one of the things, I feel like I really rushed episode 3, and that's why it didn't turn out very good in my opinion. So that horrible flicker, I just cringe every time I look at that. In regards to that scene with the green screen lightsaber duel, it's actually a transition from how we get to outside of the building, which is kind of weird. If you look in the original version that was released, you know, it just kind of get knocked into another room from a distant tripod shot, and then boom, we're outside for some reason. So that will be cleared up in the patch. Another scene that was never shot, but we will film, was a scene with a doctor character. It's sort of, I won't give too much away, but it sort of sets up future events for the other films. If we ever decide to make those. I'm still undecided what I want to do with Dark Force in the future. But this scene had a doctor character, and I had an idea for an actor I wanted to play him. I will try and get in contact with that person. I actually went to high school with him. He was part of the FCTV program. So I may get in touch with that person and see if he's up for it. If not, I have a couple of ideas for people who will play him. Another scene that was never shot, it was sort of like an in-between thing, or a coinciding scene of Kiryu helping children onto escape transports. And it actually happened is actually going to happen just as me and Ormond and Danon land outside and, just kind of hastily walk outside towards the road, which there's also another whole sequence out there that will be included. But anyway, in regards to Kiryu, he would have seen me and Jack dueling, just slowly walking out, waiting to fight, and we were going to get other, younger siblings of our friends and everything. We were going to have them, kind of slowly being lined up, and they would have been watching us as we walk on, and I would have done, sort of a little nod to, tell them, no, stay away, he's mine. I'll deal with him. And then the rest of the temple would have erupted in flames, and then some bad things would have happened. Obviously, Kiryu would survive, but he would be left with a lot of guilt. So that's another scene I really wish I could have included, because that would have been a really good emotional anchor to this film. So, but it's unfortunate we weren't able to do that. So, and the last thing that was cut and never filmed was a sequence that I really would have liked to have filmed. It was actually a big, huge battle between the Republic and the Federation, with Jedi and soldiers on both sides firing at each other. It would have been another emotional anchor to the film. We would have seen people die left and right and everything, and Mace doing some pretty cool battle stuff and witnessing the horror in front of him, and we would have seen how Kiryu fit into all that, and we would have seen other Jedi and all sorts of stuff. Now, at the time of doing the pre-production for this, I had talked to Riley. Riley and Jack were both part and led a live-action role-play group that did that kind of stuff. So, and I was in talks with them about doing it. It was about 10 or 11 people. We would have, modified them, switched up the costumes a bit, and filmed them at different positions doing all kinds of battle stuff. So I really would have liked to have done it, and but unfortunately, due to scheduling and time constraints, with all of the LARP members, it actually ended up never working out. So, and actually, because of that, we never filmed it. I actually think it didn't make much of a difference for it to be there or not. If we took it out, whether it was there or not, it really wouldn't affect the plot in any sort of way. So we know both Mace and Kiryu, we know they both survive and everything. So still, I really would have liked to have filmed that scene and that sequence, and I think it would have been a great thing to practice and everything. So it's unfortunate we never got to do that, but still. Alright guys, well that's about it for what was cut and what will be included in the new version of episode 3. So, and in regards to the reshoots, they're mostly just shots of the end of the lightsaber battle that I just didn't like, or shots we just actually forgot to get. We still have a few more things left to get, like angles and plates, and some stunt work we're actually going to do, which I'll talk about later. And we also did a bunch of other stuff, which I'll talk about in another episode of Bolt's Tutorials. Anyways guys, that does it for me. Make sure to follow me on Twitter, ThomasBolt1, like the Facebook page, Thunderbolt Films, follow me on Instagram, TheTomBolt, subscribe to the Thunderbolt Vlog/extra channel, and make sure to head on over to ThunderboltFilms.club for more website exclusive content. Thanks guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.